Basically, just to run through the program, once the two leaders arrive here, we are expecting some sort of leadership dialogue to also take place. Mr. Sven Time, who is the Otthaven List group of company leader, will be taking part in that dialogue. The Commissioner of Green Hydrogen, Mr. James Newpe, the two ministers of energy from Belgium and Namibia will also be joining that conversation. Later on, remarks will be made by the two leaders of Namibia and Belgium, and thereafter we will be witnessing history in the making when they will be filling up two fuel trucks that use green hydrogen. There'll also be a guided tour of the green hydrogen production area here on site, the dual truck workshop and a solar park. But most interestingly, there'll also be a cooking demonstration where they'll be using the green hydrogen technology and energy just to cook the food. That should be very interesting on the program. Well, that's about it, what we can expect from this historical event right across Dune 7. We can hear the sirens signaling the arrival of President Nangolo Mbumba as well as King Philippe of Belgium. I should say that there's a lot of progress that can be observed here at this site. 6 months ago, we were already here when the late President Hage Geingob visited the site, and there wasn't really much to look at. But currently, just behind me, you can see the green hydrogen refueling station for the trucks, and there's also other infrastructure on site. Roads have been built just to lead you to the site, and there's all of this infrastructure will be toured by the dignitaries when they arrive in the area. So we're just moments away now from the arrival. We can hear the motorcade approaching the Cleanergy Solutions green hydrogen site. Well, this area, the Walvis Bay or the Clean Solutions green hydrogen site, is not the only green hydrogen site in Erongo region. There is another initiative just 30 kilometers from here in Swakopmund, where a local company has also partnered up with an international partner. And there is another project, green hydrogen project, in the Daures constituency, just near Uis, where progress is also being observed. So Erongo region is really playing that pivotal role to drive this agenda of green hydrogen in Namibia. Well, we can see a bit of movement from the tent. That is the arrival of the Walvis Bay Mayor. The President, Nangolo Mbumba, is also here. The President has just arrived on site. He's being ushered in. So what will happen is now, just when they get here, they'll be ushered into the holding room where a briefing will take place. And from the holding room, they will then move to the main area where the event will be taking place, and they will be able to make their remarks regarding this historical event in Namibia and Africa.
Just speak in general. Speak in general. She's on you.
Well, we are just moments away, or the arrival. We can see the arrival of President Nangolo Mbumba, as well as the King of the Belgians, King Philippe. As I indicated earlier on, they will be ushered into the holding room for a quick briefing, and thereafter the event will start. It's going to be a busy schedule here. There is some leadership dialogue that will be taking place. We have the Haver and List group of company chairperson that will also be taking part in that dialogue. Mr. Sven Time, the Green Hydrogen Commissioner, Mr. James Nupe, and the two energy ministers from Namibia and Belgium. Thereafter, remarks will be made by the President of Namibia and His Majesty, the King of the Belgians. We will also be witnessing a guided tour of the facility. We will be able to see the historical filling of two dual fuel trucks that use hydrogen at this service station right behind us. There will be a tour at the production area, the workshop, as well as the solar park. And later on, a cooking demonstration will be happening. Currently, in your shot, we have the Namport CEO, Mr. Kanime, Andrew Kanime, arriving, and other people as well. So we're just a few minutes away from witnessing history in the making. We're here at the Cleanergy Solutions Namibia, just right across the famous Dune 7. We're going to take a quick break for now, but we will be coming back right after that.
Ze treffen echt in een mediatint.
we split the water that is captured at night into hydrogen. And the Namibian sun is really very strong. You can see it. We have a bubbler there, and all those gas bubbles are hydrogen produced by the panels. So what is exceptional is we have no electricity cables, we have no water supply, nothing. It works in an autonomous way. The only thing you see are these yellow tubings which feed the hydrogen into those bags. So these are the hydrogen tubings connected to the panels, coming over here and filling the bags. They are really full at the moment, pressurized by the panels. We don't need any compressor, we don't need anything. It's the panel that produces the hydrogen under pressure. The nice thing is you can have these bags in the sun. They do not heat up because hydrogen is a gas that does not take much of heat. So it's easy to store. You can put it anywhere. Now the bag is full. What do we do with the bag? Follow me. This is the way to carry the bag. Very convenient, very light, because hydrogen is lighter than air, so it's like a balloon. And then you can walk.
You can fly also.
And you can go to the place where you want to use the hydrogen.
Okay.
Here we are. We can mount the bag like this one, connect it to the appliances, which is, for instance, a cooking furnace. This is running on hydrogen. Or we can use a refrigerator where we can have fresh drinks.
It's very important to notice or to realize that there have been a lot of questions. How can a man on the street benefit from the hydrogen? So then we thought it's very important to look at how do you localize and how can everybody benefit. So that's why it's important now that we had our partner to look at cooking, of course through clean cooking as a way of benefiting from that green hydrogen. So it actually fits the SDG, one of the SDGs around the globe, or the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So it's gonna be amazing to see that you don't really need a big plant to cook using green hydrogen. So you need those solar panels that can capture moisture from the atmosphere. Then voila, you have it. You cook through where you have physics meets chemistry. So it's a very good principle, very great and easy principle to do.
Last year there was an EU business forum that was in Belgium, and as CAOCO we were part of the participants that went there with our former president, of course, and that's where we met Prof. Johan, and discussions engaged. And at the very same event, we promised to our president, former president, of course, where we promised that come next year, as part of our sustainable promise as CAOCO, was that we're going to cook with green hydrogen. So we'll mark that day that we're going to cook with hydrogen, and it will also be a service that will be available to our people, because that's why we have seen of need that how will the men on the street will benefit. That's why we engage these engagements with our partners, and more exciting times for us as Namibians. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is obviously part of the legacy of the late President Kenko. What do you have to say about that?
For us, I mean, because when we were in Belgium, this was one of the talks that we engaged our former president, and as I said, our sustainable promise was that we are going to because then we only had a prototype idea as to that we have seen of the need for us to do clean cooking, of course, which is Sustainable Development Goal number 7. So we have seen of that need, and as I said, tomorrow marks that exciting day of which of course, a day that marks of an excitement for us that we're going to cook with hydrogen for the first time in African continent.
This a site which is unique in Africa, and actually the beginning of the energy transition revolution, and proving to everybody here in Namibia that green hydrogen is not only talking, but is actually walking. Things are happening, seeing is believing.
It's one of the examples that indeed we can achieve that these 1 out of 4 women will be cooking on clean cooking stoves. And this is too long, now shorter version.
Cleanergy Solutions Namibia celebrates not just refueling, but a significant step towards a sustainable future. This event embodies O&L's commitment to innovative, clean energy solutions that promise a greener tomorrow. Thank you to everyone contributing to this milestone. Together, we are not just refueling, we will be refueling the future of our planet.
You see how much the sun of Namibia is producing, eh? Lots of hydrogen. Yeah. So this, can I start?
Please.
Yeah. These are our hydrogen panels, and the hydrogen panels, they produce hydrogen in an autonomous way. The way they work is, you see these holes below there. Through these holes, at night, we have air going through, and from that air, water vapor, which is contained in the air, is absorbed by this panel. And during daytime, the sun shines on the photovoltaic plate, and with this electricity, we split the water that is captured at night into hydrogen. And the Namibian sun is really very strong. You can see it. We have a bubbler there, and all those gas bubbles are hydrogen produced by the panels. So what is exceptional is we have no electricity cables, we have no water supply, nothing. It works in an autonomous way. The only thing you see are these yellow tubings which feed the hydrogen into those bags. So these are the hydrogen tubings connected to the panels, coming over here and filling the bags. They are really full at the moment, pressurized by the panels. We don't need any compressor, we don't need anything. It's the panel that produces the hydrogen under pressure. The nice thing is you can have these bags in the sun. They do not heat up because hydrogen is a gas that does not take much of heat. So it's easy to store. You can put it anywhere. Now the bag is full. Yeah. What do we do with the bag? Follow me. This is the way to carry the bag. Very convenient, very light, because hydrogen is lighter than air, so it's like a balloon. And then you can walk.
You can fly also.
And you can go to the place where you want to use the hydrogen.
Okay.
Here we are. We can mount the bag like this one, connect it to the appliances, which is, for instance, a cooking furnace. This is running on hydrogen, or we can use a refrigerator.
Thank you. You may be seated for now. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Your Majesty, the King of the Belgians, Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, Honorable Ministers and Honorable Deputy Ministers of both countries, Namibia and Belgium, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Neville Andre Tope, Governor of the Eronga region, His Worship Trevino Forbes, Mayor of Walvis Bay and the Deputy Mayor, Mr. James Mnyupe, the Namibia Green Hydrogen Commissioner, and all presidential advisors present, senior government officials, Mr. Sven Tima, Executive Chairman of the Altava and List Group, Mr. Alexander Savries, CEO of CMB.TECH, Mr. Epson Wanguta, Managing Director of the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia, NAMCOR, and Madam Jennifer Kamali, Chairperson of the Board of Directors, Mr. Andrew Kanime, CEO of the Namibia Ports Authority, NAMPORT, the Namibian and international media, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we observe all protocol. Good morning. I'll try that one more time. Good morning. A very, very warm and a hearty Namibian welcome to the Progress Showcase of the Cleanergy Green Hydrogen Plant, a joint venture between the Altava and List Group and CMB.TECH. My name is Rochelle Locke, your Director of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, the first item on our program today is a 30-minute Leaders Dialogue, which I am delighted to moderate. Please join me now in welcoming our distinguished participants as I call on each of them to join me on stage. Mr. Alexander Savries. Mr. Sven Tima. Mr. James Mnyupe. Your Excellency Tine van der Straten, Minister of Energy, Belgium. And our very own Minister of Mines and Energy of Namibia, Honorable Tom Alwendo. Valued leaders, before we commence, may I kindly request you to remain within your allocated 5 minutes each, with the exception of Mr. Tima and Mr. Savries, who will be granting an extra time of 2 minutes each. Mr. Savries, let me start with you. This is not your first visit to Namibia. Can you tell us what exactly is Cleanergy and why is CMB.TECH doing this?
Well, thank you very much and good morning. And allow me first and foremost to welcome the President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, His Majesty the King of the Belgians, and all of you distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cleanergy Solutions Namibia. Welcome to the future of energy. We are here on this site, Farm 58 in Walvis Bay, where we will produce green hydrogen with Namibian sun and water. And we will use this green hydrogen as a fuel. But we will also convert this green hydrogen to green ammonia. And green ammonia can be used as a fertilizer, but can also be used as a fuel for very large industrial applications like ships. And I would like to stress that this project is unique and revolutionary in Africa. It showcases the role Africa can play in the global energy transition. So why do we do this? We do this because we believe that decarbonization and a shift to renewable energy is a key trend in the global economy. We need to decarbonize, we need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and industries like our industry, the shipping industry, which are very hard to abate, hard to decarbonize, they cannot shift to batteries or electricity. They need to go to molecules, not electrons. And it is here on this site in Walvis Bay that we want to produce these molecules. And in the first instance, we will use the green hydrogen to power trucks, locomotives, mining equipment, port equipment. But we will also convert a small portion of that hydrogen to green ammonia, which can already be used in the mining industry.
Mr. Savries, tell us, where did this all start? How did it all come together?
Like all good things, it starts with an idea. But like all good things, it starts with good people. 5 years ago, we were looking for a location in the world to produce green hydrogen. We selected Namibia, and then we started looking for the right people. And we were very happy and honored that we could partner up with Old Haven List and the Sven team, a family, to make a joint venture to make this idea a reality. And the reason we partnered up with Old Haven List is simple. We are a family-owned company. We have the same values, the same culture, the same DNA.
You've mentioned that 5 years ago, you selected Namibia. Why Namibia?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. I would say that a very important reason for us was the political stability of this country. It is also a country which has an abundant potential of renewable energy, whether it's solar or wind or even biomass. And then Namibia has a very clear vision on its energy strategy, how to become energy independent, but also how to use the renewable energy potential to create a green hydrogen economy. And then if you allow me the last reason, which is an important reason, Belgium is a small country compared to its neighbors. Namibia has a small population compared to its neighbors. We relate to the Namibian people, to the Namibian culture, and we like to be small but brave.
Thank you, Mr. Savries. Let's move over to Mr. Sven Tima as the Executive Chairman of the Old Haven List Group. We've heard from Alexander that Cleanergy is a joint venture between the O&L Group and CMB.TECH. Can you tell us, how does Cleanergy envision the evolution of its green initiatives in the next decade, and what are the expected impacts on local communities and economies?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, Roger. Good morning, everyone. And I think you did a good welcome already, but I'd still do a welcome again to Your Majesty of Belgium, as well as our President. It's an absolute honor to have you here. Yeah, Roger, the big thing for us in Namibia, we as Old Haven List, Alex referred to it, a family company with long-term views and goals and dreams. For us to be pioneers in industries is a passion. It's something we're proud of, and that's why we're so honored to found this joint venture with CMB.TECH. I think there's one thing you forgot, Alex, what we got in common between Belgium and Namibia. We're both beer countries as well. So from a long-term strategy, O&L, part of our long-term strategy, our 2029, is the dream of having a positive impact on the carbon footprint in the world globally. Currently we're building also the biggest solar floating plant in Germany. We obviously have many plants here in Namibia, and this is how we got together. So our dream is to have a positive footprint, and hence, and where it impacts the local is that we want to decarbonize our own businesses, of course, and Alexis referred to the opportunities that are existing in terms of trucks and everything else. So that's the one area how we can contribute towards that dream. We're also very proud of being part, again, of building the first hydrogen academy in the world. It was indeed the first one in the world. I think that's worth being proud of. The academy serves two purposes. The one is the upskilling of people, locals, Namibians, young people, and marrying them with global expertise. So it is the upskilling part. The second part is quite clearly the being expertise center. We want to be the expertise and knowledge center of Africa going forward, obviously with the learnings that come from this plant. So that's the other thing we're very, very, very excited about. We also got various initiatives between the Belgian university and the Namibian universities going to see how we can, in the early stage, include hydrogen knowledge in the curriculum of students and even in school to build that knowledge and also the importance about it. On the community, I think there's a major impact, of course. I think one is the pride. We always forget about the pride, with people saying, I'm part of a community that has facilitated a new industry, and I think there's nothing for me always that's more important than that. And then, of course, the job generation during the establishment of such a plant. At the moment, we're talking about 100 to 250 people currently being employed to build this plant, so there's a direct impact right there. The afterwards, there will be people that maintain, manage, and clean and everything else, the plant, because there's major solar services that need to be looked after. And then, of course, there are infrastructures that need to be built. I mean, we don't end here. I mean, the road needs to be added. And there's many other things, new power lines that need to be built and so forth. And then we go to Arundus. I think the power lines that need to be built to here and everywhere else, it's major. So the community impact is very big. With the learnings, we have future expansions. We are really looking at further plants, larger plants, which then obviously provides us with the opportunity of scalability at the end of the day, and then have a real impact globally. And I think we witness and thank today the government who put us up. Alex said to it, and Alex said something very nice last night, saying, if a government can do a present to the private sector, then provide them with a framework of regulations, so then we can work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sventina. At this juncture, I want to move over to Mr. James Mnyupe, the Namibian Green Hydrogen Commissioner. As the Green Hydrogen Commissioner of Namibia, can you discuss the potential impacts of the Green Hydrogen Initiative on job creation and upskilling in Namibia, and why this is so important to us as a country?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Roche, Your Excellency, Your Majesty. I was reflecting on how to tell this story to Namibians this morning. And the truth of the matter is, today, the Green Hydrogen Program, which of course is an initiative that is under the Ministry of Mines and Energy, are tracking various hydrogen projects across the country. There are 9 in total that are being developed that we are tracking. And to date, more than 400 jobs have indeed already been created across these various sectors. As an economic advisor to the President, we of course really are following the footsteps of our leaders. And when we talk about these industries, which of course range from the production of ammonia itself, the production of hydrogen, in Governor Neville's region, we're also going to be producing direct reduced iron. We're going to start bunkering shipping fuel. When you look at all these new activities, they're all coming from the secondary sector. And it's useful for us as students of economy to reflect on where does all this come from. And so today my message really isn't so much about the jobs and the industries, but about the bold leadership that runs through the veins of the Namibian people that got us to where we are. And if you allow me to reflect about where we actually started with this, you actually go back to the Constitution. And Section 95L of the Constitution of Namibia actually puts environmental custodianship at the heart of how it is that we try to govern our country. We're one of the few countries that do that. You fast forward to 1998, and our founding president asked us to have a long-term vision for economic development. And from that was birthed Vision 2030, which of course I would encourage all Namibians to read. And Vision 2030 mentions capacity building 17 times, which is what excites me about this facility here today. It's not just about hydrogen production. Later on, when Sven and Alex take us through a tour, they will show us that building there, which is actually looking to train Namibians and impart them with knowledge that can never decay like traditional assets. It is answering the call, which was on page 9 of Vision 2030, where our founding president asked us to develop capacity, and I quote, with vigor. You fast forward from 2004, and you arrive on the 18th of March 2021, and of course, our late president there captured the potential of green hydrogen as a vector, as a fuel, as a spark that could then drive a green industrial revolution, which is currently really what we're witnessing today. And I'd like to say this. Students like myself and many others in Namibia, many of us today said we want to stand on the protocol that you have established. I would like to say that we stand on the giants of the forefathers that have come before us. And on those shoulders, we're going to build a mighty, proud, and brave Namibia in partnership with intentional partners that we have selected from targeted economic diplomacy, such as Belgium. And today, I'm extremely, extremely proud to be a Namibian. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, James, this is indeed great news for all Namibians. The fact that there is such a focused approach to establishing this new economy and creating and generating long-term value for all Namibians. One last question to you. How is the Green Hydrogen Commission ensuring that these new opportunities and are accessible to all Namibians? Particularly, and I just want to jump back to education because it is such an important topic, as well as professional training.
Absolutely. So, our late president was a teacher at heart. In fact, when I started working for our current president, he said to us that his biggest ambition was to be a headmaster, and he had never envisioned that one day he was going to be a head of state. Teaching and capacity building was at the core of all of our leadership ethos. This is why, even under the leadership of our current Green Hydrogen Council chairperson, who's sitting with us today, who's basically the Director General of the National Planning Commission, and on this side we have our Minister of Mines, who was also a Director General of the National Planning Commission. When we started engaging our partners from Germany to mobilize the 30 million euros that we have used to co-fund this particular pilot project, training and capacity building was at the core of that joint communique of intent that Honorable Kanjo there signed. And with that, we started with a national green hydrogen scholarship program. 5 million euros is not a small amount. We've now issued more than 180 scholarships to Namibians around our country to go and study abroad. But very importantly, all of the 30 million euros that we used to fund the pilot projects, such as the one we're witnessing here today, actually had an R&D component. And you will hear, I think, from Sven and Alex as they walk us through, that Belgian universities are now partnering with the University of Namibia and other tertiary institutions to go beyond issuing scholarships, to start converting trucks today, to start using diesel and hydrogen. And so we're now crafting and building this machinery right here at home. Of course, we now need to take it to the next level, Rocher. A few scholarships and a few pilot projects won't be enough. And so we're developing under the Green Hydrogen program, of course, and the leadership of Cabinet, a specific skills development strategy with the Minister of Higher Education, working very closely with the Minister of Finance to try and develop the necessary skill sets that we need in Namibia, not just for the production of the goods and services, but also to collaborate on, for example, standards construction here in Namibia. We will hear, I think, later from the Minister of Belgium on how does Namibia begin to partner with its trading partners to agree on certification. So the journey is long and hard, but I think as we've heard from the entrepreneurial pioneers here today, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And we have taken that first step. Again, I'd like to reinforce under extremely strong leadership, both from the public sector and the private sector. And I, for one, cannot wait for our tertiary sector to start exporting Namibian brewed, in the name of beer, skill sets. Namibian brewed brains that we're going to start exporting around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again, James, for giving us that comprehensive oversight of the rollout plan to ensure accessibility to all our youth. Minister van der Straten, welcome to Namibia. I just want to share with you that the Minister, if you don't mind, when she arrived yesterday late afternoon, she took a dip in our very cold Atlantic Ocean and said to us, no, it's not cold, it's actually warm. That is brave. Minister van der Straten, why does Belgium believe so strongly in Namibia's potential as a frontrunner in the global hydrogen economy?
Thank you, Raché, also for sharing this anecdote with everyone here. James said he was proud to be Namibian today, and I would like to join you and say that I'm proud of being Belgian today, because we are witnessing this very strategic partnership that comes at a very important moment in time. We've heard before, and James, you also said the journey is long and it's hard. But when we signed His Excellency Minister Albindo Tom, when we signed together the MOU in COP26 at Glasgow, it was the same COP that David Attenborough took the stand in the leadership dialogue. And that David Attenborough said, if humans could create the biggest problem ever occurred on Earth, climate change, then surely also we humans can be the biggest problem solvers ever existed. And that is what we are showing here today, what Cleanergy is showing here today, and indeed with a lot of support from both our governments. And what we can bring further to this project is specifically the research, the development, the skills, the training, the capacity building that we need. Because indeed we need many more people and many more knowledge to tackle the urgent problem of climate change that here Namibia is also confronted with as one of the countries that is facing the hardest difficulties. And so what can we then further do, and how can we further build on the project that was here today, that is specifically on this exchange of research, development and skills. And so we are very happy that we will be welcoming to Belgium in 2 weeks' time a delegation of Namibian professionals on a study tour in Belgium to work on very technical issues, things that Tom and me get very happy about, but that are very boring to many other people. But exciting things like here can only be happening if there are also people who are working on the very boring stuff like certification, regulation framework, and so on. So there are 10-15 people coming to Belgium with a very packed program. They are going to visit our regulator, our TSO, the network operator that we have assigned. And I personally signed a welcoming letter to welcome them in Belgium, which I forgot on my table. But Tom, I will be giving them to you after the panel.
Thank you so much, Minister van der Straten. Minister Alwendo, can you share with us how does the collaboration with Belgium align with Namibia's national goals for energy and economic development?
Thank you very much, Roche. Let me start off by saying what we really are witnessing this morning is really in part the realization of our economic strategy, economic growth strategy, how to industrialize. Because we need to clearly understand that when we came up with the HPP that talks about green hydrogen, it was a deliberate strategy to see how do we actually recalibrate our economy, how do we actually get better ways of growing the economy, and hence then to say let's use our natural resources that we have got and that make a part of our economic growth strategies. But we also understood then to say that for us to really better realize that dream of industrialization using our natural resources like energy resources, we need to have partners. We need to have partnerships because that was also important for us also to be part of the energy transition, to be part of the climate change, and therefore for that it was going to work better when we got global partners. And therefore we went around using our economic diplomacies to make sure that we discover partners that are of like-minded, partners that can work with us to make sure that this happens. And the need for having partners like Belgium is very important. You need to understand, for example, that this is a new kind of strategy or economic strategy to do that, and therefore you need to have, number one, partners that can bring FDI, for example. We need to have investment that can come, can be located globally. You need to have, because we're talking about green hydrogen, you need to have standards that are globally accepted. And therefore, you need to work with global partners to make sure that the standards that we are going to come up with are standards that are acceptable to all of us, producing nations and also consuming nations. You need to make sure that you are competitive because there are also other people who are doing the same thing, and therefore you need to have partners that can actually make us more competitive, either in terms of funding, and Belgium can help for us, for example, to get some of the competitive funding that we can bring to our shores, the standards I talk about. And therefore, really, we are quite happy then to have this partnership with Belgium. And as Tina says, when we signed that MOU in Glasgow, we did tell each other to say, let's not sign this MOU just to be an MOU that's just going to be accumulating dust, but let's put something concrete in that MOU to make sure that we can start to do something active. And we are quite happy now to be here, the collaboration between CMB.TECH and Old Harbour List, to clearly now see that is happening. Because also in most of the Namibian minds, green hydrogen is still something that is being talked about, it's a concept, but when people start to see this, we can now actually start to understand that this is real. It's not just concept, it's not just theory, this is something really real that can actually recalibrate our economy and actually grow much faster than what we might have achieved in the past. So we are quite happy to have the partnership with Belgium.
Thank you so much, Minister Alwendo, and all our speakers here today. I believe it is evident that the synergy between Namibia and Belgium is poised to drive significant advancements in green technology and sustainable development. This dialogue, ladies and gentlemen, underscores a powerful partnership between, or that leverages each country's strengths to foster a sustainable future. So we'd like to thank you all for your visionary leadership and for sharing your strategies with us today. Let's please give another round of applause to our participants. You may now take your seats again. Thank you. You wanted
say something, Honourable Minister? It's 2 minutes.
So at this juncture, I'm going to hand over to Minister van der Straten for a few words.
It's just, Tom, that as you required us many times that we should indeed work further in depth, that we are inviting to Belgium this Namibian delegation to work with us on the technical issues, regulation, a better regulatory framework to have this project grow even further into time. And so I will hand you over the formal invitation letters so that we are very sure that they are very welcome in Belgium.
Thank you very much, Tina, for that, because as you said, the MOU did say that we are going to have exchange of expertise to learn from each other. And this is the first step, actually, where we have got now clearly a number of Namibians who are going to Belgium, actually, to study some of their project that they're also doing with us. And thank you very much for that. The only thing I have got, when I look at this list, my name is not on this list. I'm not so sure how
You're
it is.
welcome anytime.
But thank you very much for this clear demonstration.
Sorry.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished leaders, it is now my singular pleasure to invite Your Excellency, President Mbumba, to the podium.
Let us please sit down. Your Majesty, the King of the Belgians, and I think as of today, everybody here is a Belgian by heart. Please give the King a big round of applause. To liberate Namibia, to reintegrate Walvis Bay, to build the economy, to draft the Namibian constitution, have not been easy challenges. But here we are, 34 years later, and we are talking about things nobody could dream about. Fueling a truck, a bus, a train, and a ship. With what? With green hydrogen, green ammonia. And you say, if you say those things to some people 4 years ago, they will say, something is not right upstairs. But sometimes it's good to dream. It's good to think and plan, but more importantly, to do things. Things people can touch, as one of our presidents used to say, touch them, feel them, then you really know that something has been done. Your Majesty, allow me 1 minute to think about, to say something about how I know this town or this district of Walvis Bay. I came here, seconded from Windhoek, I uprooted my family, put them in school in Walvis Bay, and one day I did something very dumb and scary, because one of the South African colonel, army colonel, was born in Gobabis, the other side of Namibia. And he invited me to drive around here where they used to have their shooting range. He could have done anything, but by faith I undertook it. And now here we are. No splinter or metal that had been shot at, but witnessing something very beautiful. And on top of that, in the presence of His Majesty, a real king, a king of his people. It's good that small countries can come together and do bigger things for others to follow. It's good that some of us who live in desert, open desert, can have guests from countries that are always green. It is good to see that some of these kids, I'm sorry to call you kids, I know you are Ambassador Mekonjo, James Nyupe, these are kids born during the struggle. That's why she's Mekonjo, in the struggle. Her name said it all. And now, Her Excellency the Ambassador. My goodness. Her Excellency the Ambassador. See, a struggle kid. But she went to school and studies and so on. Then, when green hydrogen news started, our late president used to say, 3 years ago, he did not know anything about it, but he took time and energy, went around, visited countries. He was good at gaining friendship with all people at local and higher level. And now we are here. And I think some of these institutions or roads or power lines or whatever should carry the name of Hage Gottfried Geinkop. Because was it not for him, we will not have the courage to talk to bigger people. We will not have the courage to talk about having employment in a new field. When people come to Walvis Bay, they are already going to the fishing industry. The fishing industry, now you are going to have a run for your money. When Namibia gained her independence, no university. We have to get somebody out of parliament to go and establish a university. That's Honorable Professor Dr. Peter Hichevi Kachavivi. Now, after we did that, we make him an ambassador, and being an ambassador, we train him well. Now he's the speaker. So we have, in Namibia, we have a way of doing things, sometimes to the left, sometimes to the right. Then the gift of God to have such a large land. Namibia, 800,000 hectares or whatever. And we cannot occupy all of it. We live in groups here, community there, community here, community there. Now we are going to set up industries using water from the sea. Who ever drink water from the sea? Namibians are going to be drinking water even from the sea, but not with all the salt in it. The salt, we can sell it to other people too. This is a happy occasion, and we thank the people of O&L, my good friend Sven Time, my new good friend, Alexander, from CMB, and I told him that MB sounds like the beginning of my last name. And I know Namibians are going to say, oh, Mbumba already has a company with the Belgians giving him a lot of money. Let them say whatever they want to say. The industry is here for the benefit of all Namibians. Your Majesty, thank you very much for your presence in our country.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor to welcome to the podium Your Majesty, the King of the Belgians.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. What a beautiful tradition to say good morning in the morning like this. I will bring it back to Belgium. Of course, there we don't have sunny days like this every day, and it helps to have a sunny day to say good morning. I must say there is a real chemistry between the Namibian people and the Belgian people, Mr. President, as you rightly said, not only because we are producing a green molecule together that will make power engines and boats and trucks, but because we have something common in the heart. Mr. President, thank you for welcoming me to Walvis Bay. We look back on the fruitful meetings in your capital city. Our journey has brought us from Windhoek over the Nangolo Mountains all the way to Osrogondo. These names make any visitor dream. Here in Walvis Bay, the endless African desert stretches out in the ocean. I can see why the great Namibian poet Mvula ya Nangolo, returning to his motherland's shores, wrote, "I've returned here for many a reason. I'll certainly live here for many a season." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud that both our countries are committed to preserving our planet for generations to come. We are here to work together in order to achieve this goal. Protecting our environment and its biodiversity requires climate neutrality, which we aim to reach by 2050. And we want to leave no one behind. That is why we are making electricity out of renewable energy sources available to all citizens. Namibia and Belgium strongly believe in the essential role green hydrogen will play in realizing the transition towards renewable energy, whether it be for shipping, road transport, trains, or even for small-scale local necessities, such as preparing meals. This joint ambition to be global leaders in green hydrogen led to the conclusion of a strategic partnership at the UN Climate Summit in Glasgow 3 years ago. I commend Minister Alwendo and Minister van der Straten for this milestone and for their leadership, paving the way for the inauguration of the Cleanergy project here today. This project This project is a groundbreaking demonstration of pioneering hydrogen production in Africa. It aims to demonstrate that green hydrogen and ammonia can be produced efficiently and on the basis of renewable energy sources. Namibia boasts huge solar and wind energy potential, a thriving workforce, a favorable business climate, and most importantly, a vision of becoming a leader in sub-Saharan Africa in sustainable energy. Belgium contributes with its unique know-how and industrial capacity. The Belgian group CMB and its Namibian partner, O&L, demonstrate an exemplary collaboration, setting up a win-win partnership for both our countries and many others, in particular Germany, with others, which offers its strong support to the investment. The development of the North Port sector between Namport and the Port of Antwerp-Bruges is yet another demonstration of such productive commitments. Finally, let me emphasize that our common ambitions reach further than industrial progress. With the creation of the Agent Academy here in Walvis Bay and development agencies enables capacity building project, we want to foster the exchange of know-how. This will provide young Namibians with the tools to create excellent prospects for themselves, their families, and their country. Ladies and gentlemen, all actors present here share this common vision of a green energy future, of a solid commitment towards our younger generation, and a strong drive to take things forward. Mr. President, I thank you once more for bringing us together. I'm confident there is a bright future ahead of us when I see what we can accomplish here together. Thank you.
Your Majesty, thank you for those kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, in concluding our official program here in the venue, I would now like to call to the podium Mr. Sven Tima to deliver an honorary tribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Today, I'm honored to pay tribute to our visionary leader, Dr. Hage G. Geingob. His foresight in launching Namibia's green hydrogen project has not only marked a significant turning point in our nation's approach to sustainable development, but also strengthened our commitment to a greener future. Under the President Geingob's leadership, the Harambee Prosperity Plan and the Namibian House, we as Namibia took bold steps towards becoming a pioneer in green hydrogen, setting a global benchmark in renewable energy initiatives. His vision has positioned Namibia on the world map as an attractive destination for sustainable investment and innovation. Our journey at the O&L Group has been profoundly aligned with the vision, From the early discussions to the realization of this groundbreaking project, you see here today, our collaboration has been a testament to what visionary leadership and corporate commitment can achieve together. Today, as we remember Dr. Hage Geingob, we reaffirm our dedication to advancing the green hydrogen initiatives he championed. Let us honor his memory by continuing to push the boundaries of innovation and sustainability. To Dr. Hage Geingob, our legacy inspires us to strive for a sustainable, prosperous future for all Namibians. Today, we salute you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and respect that we express our profound gratitude to His Majesty, the King of Belgium, for gracing us with his presence today. Your Majesty, your commitment to fostering innovation in the field of climate change solutions and your support for the Belgian companies operating internationally, particularly in Africa, are immensely appreciated. This encouragement is vital for our collaborative efforts towards a sustainable future. Thank you, Your Majesty, for your invaluable support and for your being part of this significant occasion. Your presence today not only honors us, but also strengthens the ties between our nations and our shared commitment to environmental stewardship. Thank you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Sven Tima for that moving tribute to Dr. Hage G. Geingob and his thoughtful vote of thanks to Your Majesty, the King of the Belgians. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to call on Mr. Alexander Savries, who has been a pivotal figure in this transformative journey towards sustainable energy solutions between our countries. Let's give a warm round of applause.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, some final words. We could not have realized this project without the invaluable support of many different actors and people. And I would therefore like to thank the Namibian government, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, the Namibian Green Hydrogen Council, the Ministry of Work and Transport, the Irongo region, the municipality of Walvis Bay, Nam Port, Nam Water, Nam Power, Namcor, Irongo Red, the Electricity Control Board, the Namibian Investment and Development Board, SASCAL, and the German Ministry for Education and Research. And I would also like to thank the Namibian, Belgian, German, and European ambassadors and politicians that have understood that a new economic axis between Europe and Africa is crucial to the development of both continents and its people. We need your continued support and belief that Europe and Africa can truly write a new chapter in our history based on mutual respect, transparency, and a shared vision to use the energy transition as a vector for prosperity for all. And finally, I would like to thank the President of the Republic of Namibia, His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, for doing us the honor of being present here today. Your leadership and the one of your government are testimony to the bold green hydrogen vision of Namibia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander Savaries. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished leaders, it is now my singular pleasure to invite Your Majesty, the King of the Belgians, Your Excellency, President Nangolo Mbumba, the Minister of Mines and Energy, Honorable Tom Alwendo, and the Minister of Energy, Honorable Tine van der Straten, as well as the CEO of CMB.TECH, Mr. Alexander Savaries, and the Executive Chairman of the O&L Group, Mr. Sven Tima, to witness this historic moment at the Cleanergy green hydrogen plant with the ceremonial first filling of the dual fuel truck at the refueling station. The rest of our guests will be able to follow the procedure on the AV screens here inside the venue. And our next group, the rest of our VIP delegation, will then join afterwards. So may I now call on our delegation to please join us. So the nozzle is being attached to the truck. This is a pivotal moment in the history of both Namibia and Belgium. The button is pushed, and as the truck is filled, we are reflecting on the strides we are making towards a more sustainable future. This act not only represents technological advancement, but it also signifies our collective commitment to combating climate change and protecting our planet for future generations. His Excellency and His Majesty shaking hands on this historic moment. And as we witness this ceremony, we carry with us forward the momentum and determination witnessed here today. Together, let us forge a path towards a brighter, cleaner tomorrow. I now invite the rest of our VIP delegation to witness the refueling station.
Hydrogen is happening here in Namibia. And before you, there is a proud man. This morning, while driving through Swakopmund, I saw the sun shining to Belgian flags and Namibian flags, because that's what we are here also celebrating. Two companies, O&L, CMB.TECH, a Belgian company, Namibian company, are making this happen. And I'm very honored to work for that team as part of the Cleanergy Development Committee, because it's not obvious. I'm also very glad that we are supported by two families who see the long-term view on how to make this successful. I'm also blessed by a great team who have given their best of the past 4 weeks to show what we can show today to you. It's the result of hard work. There is no I in the word team. We're doing this together. And I would like to show you what is here present on this site. Therefore, I have prepared some slides with a lot of technical content, but I have a solution for that. Let me take it. It's the hydrogen stick. This is a pipeline being used on the truck. It's a hydrogen pipeline. I'm going to use it as part of the Hydrogen Academy to show you around what we have here visible. But I have to be honest, this is how it looked 1 year ago. I heard here the words of crazy guys who started dreaming about something 4 years ago. I might be one of them. And I hope by the end of the presentation, you can acknowledge that maybe it's not that crazy at all. But here on this picture, there was just sand. There was no grid, there was no road, there was no water. Look at where we stand here today. We have very high-level guests doing the first filling of our truck in a period of 12 months' time. As you can understand, in front of you, there's a proud man. But what is it? I think the name Cleanergy has been mentioned. What we would like to do is convert the vast amount of renewable energy which is present in Namibia into green molecules like hydrogen and ammonia. But how does the process work? It starts from the sun. Over here, we're going to install a 5-megawatt solar farm. We're going to combine it with the battery because the solar energy can also be intermittent. And that electricity will be used to split water into an electrolyzer. So we split water into oxygen and into hydrogen. Hydrogen is being stored first in a 40-bar buffer. Then we compress it to two other storage means. One of them is the medium storage buffer of 500 bar, which is feeding, let's say, the public dispensers. Because at the public dispensers, road mobility can come to here to refuel. So there we are looking towards trucks and tractors. But there are much more users, because we don't envision just solely, let's say, the mobility. We're also looking into other equipment which can be seen into the port, but also heavy-duty equipment like locomotives and power generation. The hydrogen, which has been delivered to the 500 bar storage, we're not using. We store it in the intermediate pressure at 300 bar. From that, we can refuel our mobile refueler, which is also visible on the back, and we can refuel, let's say, containerized storage of hydrogen, which we can bring towards locomotives, while the mobile refueler is mainly used for the heavy-duty assets, which can be found in a port area. But today, we're here on the site, showing you around, and we have 5 spots where we're going to stop. It will be marked by the blue circle, and we have 5 spots which I would like to show you already before. Here is the distribution of the 5 spots. And we're going to start with the public dispenser and the trucks, which you have just seen on our screens. So what is the public dispenser? We have 2 of them. As you could have seen in the movie, there is like a blue LED, but as soon as the filling starts, you see the green going up. Once the green is up, the tanks are fully filled. We do that with a nozzle. This is an example how the nozzle looks like. It's some kind of gun you connect towards the vehicle. It holds some, let's say, some cables. One of them is, of course, the hydrogen pressure line. The other one is data communication, because that nozzle can talk to the vehicle. For that, we use infrared. So we don't use mechanical connection where, let's say, a spark can occur. We use light connection, infrared, to communicate with the vehicle. And then in order to disconnect, we also have a purging line that takes off the pressure from the nozzle. The filling speed we can achieve is 120 grams per second. To give you an idea, 1 cubic meter of hydrogen gas weighs around 90 grams. So it's a lot of flow speed that can go to such a nozzle. The average time we're going to use for refueling vehicles, let's say the heavy-duty ones, is, let's say, within 12 minutes or within 50 minutes operation, we can fill up a truck. The hydrogen being fed towards a dispenser is coming from this cascade system. So each of these cascades, so we have 3 of them, holds pressurized hydrogen of 500 bar. We use a cascade system in order to optimize the refueling process. Because you can imagine, we work with the balancing of the gas. So in the beginning, you don't have high pressure in your application, and you start to level out. If you only have one system, one storage tank, you can only get maximum half of the gas into your application. If you divide it into a cascade system, you can have a much higher output, and it can be quickly refilled by the compressors. Another thing that we saw here today is the first time we show it to the public are our dual fuel trucks, which we have converted with the support of the local MAN dealer. And these trucks have been converted here in Namibia in the workshop you're all going to see. It's based on a standard truck, which has some modifications, meaning like a longer wheelbase, and also the application of hydrogen storage tanks and the modification to the engine. That's a bit on our technology, which we have been, let's say, gathering over the past 10 years. It's a computer that listens to the engine, and by listening to the engine, we can determine how much hydrogen we can inject. My next slide, I'm going to explain how it all works. So the basics of a hydrogen truck is that we install 6 hydrogen tanks onto a frame, which we bolt to the chassis of the truck. Here you can see the filling point where this is just being used. Then we have some pressure reducers into the line that, let's say, reduce from the high pressure inside the tank to a safe low pressure, which is being guided towards the hydrogen injection piece, which is installed on the engine. The truck driver has a control display to see how much hydrogen he still has, how the performance is, and if there are any alarms. But how does it work in the engine? This is a visualization of how a combustion engine works. So what we do, we inject hydrogen at the air inlet. You see the hydrogen being aspirated into the cylinder. We compress. We start using the diesel injection to start the combustion process. Then we have the power stroke generating force to drive the truck. And then we have the cleaning stroke, and the process starts all over again. If there is no hydrogen left anymore, instead of just using a pilot diesel amount, just a small amount to kickstart the combustion process, we use the original full diesel injection amount. So the diesel truck can switch to the dual fuel operation. Once the tanks are empty, it just drives back on diesel. This is as we see as a transition technology. Today, already monofuel trucks on hydrogen are present. But we first need to build on the infrastructure to have many more refueling stations, and then we're also happy to bring these to the country. But now, let's walk further. Let's go to the workshop. Here you see a top view what the workshop entails. There is room for 2 trucks to do the conversion. Over here is a storage room, because we're going to need spare parts for a hydrogen system. We're going to need to have valves. We're going to need all the equipment for a hydrogen, which can be safely stored away. This is also a training facility. Like the first trucks have been modified over here. You can see the view with the 2 trucks. You can see the hydrogen tanks being, let's say, prepared on a straddle to bring it towards the trucks. There's like the scaffolding to be able to work very nicely. And there we have all the equipment where this kind of tubing has been bent by Namibians, being connected to the valves, to all the systems, has been done by support today of our technicians from Europe, who are now training the local people on how to do it themselves, because if in the future maintenance needs to be done, it needs to happen locally. Also above, you can see how the training programs are being organized. Will trucks be the only users of hydrogen here today? No. We have a quite long list of applications which are mainly focused on heavy duty, because I believe on heavy duty assets where diesel consumption is high, where there is almost no time to, let's say, to charge batteries, where batteries cannot offer a solution, we believe combustion technology based on dual fuel is the right way forward. And there I'm happy to mention that there's also a project we're doing together with TransNamib, also called the High Rail Project, with support of Hyven Technical and Traction. We're working on converting 2 locomotives with that dual fuel technology. But there also are gensets available, our trucks, port equipment. All the handling of containers in the port happens by heavy duty equipment. They are standardized through all the ports because the container is standardized. We are working on them to showcase how that technology can work. The tractor can be seen on site. We have a tugboat which has been launched last year in strong cooperation with the Port of Antwerp, and also we have other vessels that can operate on that technology. Let's move forward. Let's go to the solar farm. Why are we here? Look at this map. I can show you pictures that almost half of the houses in Belgium are covered with solar panels. But you see, this is the performance. Where we live, it's blue. Blue is not good. But we do it because we need to, let's say, have our renewable energy sources. Look where Namibia is. Dark red, you can say like over here is a lot of, but how are you going to get molecules over here towards Europe? Here in Walvis Bay, we have one of the best ports of the, let's say, sub-Saharan Africa. It's well equipped, it's working, it's stable. It's, let's say, a good partnership that we have there. If you zoom in into the map of Namibia, you see it like today we are here now. Our bigger upscaling project will happen in Arandis. This is a top location worldwide to capture solar energy and transform it into molecules. The reason why you see this kind of light coloring is due to the fog. There's a lot of fog in the morning in the Walvis Bay area. That's why we already are behind the dunes. But for our pilot project, we selected this site because in the future our large-scale ammonia factory will be located over here. But also you need to position your production facility near your offtake. It doesn't make sense to install something in the middle of nowhere because we need customers for the hydrogen. The port has these customers. The highway, every truck that brings goods, even to Zambia, even to the DRC, is passing the freeway we just are connected to. Also, maybe an interesting topic to mention is this is the solar profile throughout the year. So you see in Belgium, during our summertime, our solar panels produce a lot. During winter time, the others produce nothing. The nice thing about Namibia, due to its location near the equator, it's a more stable production, which is important for your offtake, because you need to have a continuous offtake, and you need to have, let's say, very high solar potential. Looking towards the differences, we have more than double the output of the same solar panel what we do over here. Of course, this seems like a very nice curve, but if you zoom in, you're going to have days where we will be producing 800 kilograms of hydrogen, but if there's a lot of fog in the morning, it's going to be only 100 kilograms of hydrogen. So even for our offtake, we need to have that dual fuel technology. But again, what is a solar park? Today, we are starting with a 5 megawatt solar park. But as you can see, the site is much bigger, and we're going to expand quite rapidly. It's holding more than 7,000 solar panels of around, let's say, 700 watt peak each. We use 2 converters, also a bit for redundancy purposes. So all these solar panels are connected to this converter, and the converter transforms the direct current, which a solar panel is producing, into alternating current at the high voltage of 11,000 volts that's being brought towards the main bus bar. Looking towards the panels itself, there are 2 ways to function. One of them is with direct sunlight on the upper side, but we have bifacial panels. So even the reflection of the sand can be captured because the underside is also producing energy. Another means is that we work with diffuse light. If there are some clouds, also that can be captured by our solar panels. And then we have installed a tracking system. So we track during the day so we can optimize our energy capturing. That tracking system, let's say, delivers us about 30% extra output. Also, the development of the solar farm has been done with Next Century. That's one of the subsidiaries of our O&L Group. Looking towards the hydrogen production. The magic happens in this dark blue container. In fact, it will be a white container, but just for the visualization. So what happens here, we have that electrolyzer stack. But in order to produce hydrogen, you need to do 2 things. First, you need to prepare your electricity, because we come from alternating current, and electrolysis needs direct current at a lower voltage. This happens in the power container. Another one that we need to do is we need to have very pure water, because what comes into the electrolyzer can only exit as oxygen gas or as hydrogen gas. So, you know, typical water also has some minerals like calcium to have the right pH value. We need to neutralize that to have very pure water going into the electrolyzer, and that is there, let's say, due to inefficiency, it creates some heat. There we have the cooling system to cool down the gas and to cool down the electrolyzers. We're going to produce per hour about 90 kilograms per hour. Just as a reference, 1 cubic meter of gas weighs around 90 grams, so it's a lot of gas that's being used for production. What happens next after the production? We put it into a low pressure buffer tank at 40 bar, because you would like to have some kind of fluctuating system, because if this kicks in, your compressors needs to start. It's not always easy to match. So we have a type 1, that's a steel vessel. Right? We're using type 1. It holds around 130 kilograms of hydrogen, and then the hydrogen is being fed towards compressors. We have 3 of them due to redundancy purpose. If one is down for maintenance, the other 2 can always take over. So what we first do, we fill up the medium pressure buffer tanks for doing the filling, because that has priority. Each time that a truck comes, or many trucks that can come, they should always be filled first. Once we don't have offtake, we put them into intermediate storage. These are type 4 tanks, glass fiber reinforced tanks, because they're a lot cheaper than the very expensive 500 bar tanks of pure steel. So that's what we called intermediate for storing the hydrogen which was not being offtaken at that moment. What else do we have on site? If we go from the electrolyzer, going from the compressors towards the battery system, we have a 5 megawatt battery. And in fact, that's not one battery. These are 16 of these containers. Each of these containers can completely filled with batteries, and each of these racks weighs around 3.4 tons. And that holds 8 modules filled with batteries. Each module is 46 kilowatt hour. It's like an electric car. This is the package that an electric car has. So you see, we have 8 of them, and we have 16 of these, which are storing the energy that we can also use for the nighttime, or during the daytime, we can also use it. And then, of course, from a safety point of view, you have a fire suppression system, you have the thermal control system. That's all being incorporated, because battery will also be an important topic working with green energy to a certain extent. This is a bit oversized for our plant, but we would like to have the knowledge to determine, if we do that large scale, how much do we really need? What is the minimum? And that's the goal of this pilot plant, to have that information. Now we're going to be very technical. Don't worry, there is no exam afterwards. But in fact, it's rather easy, I would say. This is a solar farm with the 2 transformers feeding this black line, which is called the bus bar. That's where all the electricity is being connected and being distributed. So we use this 11,000 volt bus bar to feed again to the electrolyzer. There it's being, let's say, transformed to the other voltage. It's being rectified, and is a feed of our electrolyzer. The ones that are indicated in red, so during the day, so this is our grid connection. We have a 200 kilowatt grid connection. But during the day, it's disconnected. We are an island operation. All the solar energy also is over here, goes to compressors, the building, the chillers. All the equipment on site is powered by pure energy captured from the sun. But during startup time, or maybe during nighttime, or whatever event, we also need to have some kind of an emergency that we can connect over here. We disconnect over there, so that our building and our compressors can always be operating. So we have a very small grid connection. As you can see from the grid, we can only produce hydrogen from our solar energy. There's no way today that we can, let's say, make molecules. We want to make the green molecules purely from the solar energy. And I'm also very happy to state that the system that controls the flow of energy, is it now going to the batteries? Is it now going to the electrolyzer? How is the startup of this? All that controlling happens in a hybrid controller. It's programmed by Namibians. Namibian people, which we have found, and we are very enthusiastic, but they're doing a very good job, because that's the heart of our system. If we would have chosen European ones, and there's an issue, because maybe at the beginning we're using as a learning system, trying to get that technician over here takes you a week before you have all the paperwork organized. That's why we have chosen, and we are happy, and we are upscaling further so that we can grow on this technology. Looking towards fueling the customers. So we have done today the filling of a hydrogen truck, but as you can see, we have two docks. One dock is for filling that large tube trailer over there, which is being used for mobile refueling. It can also be used for unloading hydrogen, because maybe due to an event there is no hydrogen available, due to maintenance on the electrolyzer. We can also import hydrogen from other locations. The other one is being used for filling up the standardized containers. For example, the High Rail project, where 2 locomotives will be converted into the dual fuel technology. It's like the tandem of the locomotives. We put them apart and we put in the middle a fuel tender. That fuel tender is comprised of 2 20-foot containers that can be filled up here at our plant at the desired pressure. Does it sound all easy? There's a lot of, let's say, work that needs to happen, a lot of technology that needs to be incorporated to make this happen. So we have nitrogen, we have instrument air, and this is what we would like to educate in our academy. Here are some details on the mobile refueler. It's a technology being used already in Europe successfully for filling up ships, filling up trucks, port equipment. As you can see, this is still a virtual picture, but mining equipment can be very suitable as well, especially in the beginning phase, because this mobile refuel can also go to Windhoek to fill up trucks. Once it's empty, it can go back for new filling. Let's go to the last topic, the building. Here you're going to see the final looks, but I think today you already can have a good impression how it's going to look like, and more important, how does it look on the inside. So this is the first level with our workshop. There we have these, the technical rooms. Over here, the team of Cleanergy will be housing, and here we have meeting rooms, we have a lounge, we even have a boardroom. You can see the pictures. I think it will be a very nice location. So if people are looking to rent some meeting rooms to invite people, please, we can discuss further. The one above, that's where the academy is. You can see the best room that we have with the nicest view. You can look outside, you see the windows already. That's the classroom where the students can follow their courses. And I can tell today, more than 40 students already received training with respect to the hydrogen technology. It's about pipe bending, it's about solar installation, already is happening today. And then we have some exhibition room where also partners who would like to showcase their hydrogen technology are very welcome to take part of that. Here you see some pictures of the trainings already organized. So it's about a teacher who is training to do, here for example, you see pipe bending, you see the result, you see the smiles. It's, I think a mixture of 4 local companies where we selected 3 of them, and we asked them, send your 2 best technicians, we're going to give them the training. We're going to pay for it so that these technicians can be used on our site. One of that is, for example, a leak test with a sniffer to see if everything is done properly. It's also about a platform for training for, let's say, the hydrogen knowledge and inherently the safety for it. These are the different layers that our plant has. There are 8 of them, but it gives a good overview. How do you design with hydrogen? What kind of equipment is hydrogen entailing? How do you install it? How do you check the safety? How do you do leak detection, fire detection, firefighting? And how do you operate it? All these topics will be translated into courses where we also are reaching out to research universities. And for example, NIMT already has sent most of their students towards our site for training. This is a visual of the plant where we're now about to start, let's say, the tour outside. As you can see, there's still room left. We already are working on something new, but I can't tell it yet. But as today we are making our plans concrete, we're now working on the engineering, on extending on what we have here. But I hope this gives you a good overview. And I'm also happy to, let's say, start with a very small group, also do a small tour. And I would like to pass the word again to Rocher for, let's say, closing up this first part. For now, I would like to thank you for your attention on being here. And I look forward to meeting you all afterwards and discussing further. Thank you.
Thank you so much again to Mr. Roy Kamper, the Chief Technical Officer of CMB.TECH and also a pivotal player in the Cleanergy project. As you've just heard, the next tour, I would like to invite our guests with the red dot. You know who you are, to please join Mr. Roy Kamper as well as Ms. Lopke Vergouwen on my right here. The rest of our remaining guests, you are welcome to help yourselves to a walking lunch. And whenever you are ready to go on the next tour, we will also guide you for that. I will let you know. So our next group with the red dots, can you please join the facilitators, Roy and Lopke, and the rest of us remaining, you're welcome to help yourselves to a walking lunch and network. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for crossing over to us. We have just concluded the program. We are still here at the Cleanergy Solutions Green Hydrogen site. We've witnessed the inauguration. Speeches have already been delivered, and generally it has been described as a proud moment for Namibia and Belgium, and a happy occasion while the two countries are making history. Now, just to give you a brief on what the speakers said over here, we had His Excellency, the President of Namibia, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, saying that this was but a dream a few years ago, but it is so wonderful to witness finally something that Namibia has dreamt about, and to see that being realized is something magnificent for the country. So Dr. Nangolo Mbumba also said that it is good to see two small countries, Namibia and Belgium, just collaborating to achieve something much, much bigger that other bigger nations can follow. And he also said that it's good to see that there are some of the children that were born during the liberation struggle that are at the forefront of these projects. So he was saying that when green hydrogen started, the former president, Dr. Hage Geingob, did not actually know about it, but he went around the world to look for partners like the Belgians, who have now realized this project. So he was saying that it's good if some of the institutions can also name something after the late Dr. Geingob. He said that if it wasn't for him, we would not have been realizing this dream, and also just have that courage to achieve this. Well, he also said that it's good to see that new industries are being set up, and all in all commended the Haven list, which is a local group of companies that has partnered up with the Belgian CMB.TECH to bring this to fruition. Well, King Philippe of Belgium also delivered a powerful speech where he said that there is obviously chemistry between the two nations, and they have similarities. And you know, he also talked about how the two countries are actually committed to ensuring that they drive the agenda or the industry of renewable energy. So he commended the two ministers of mines and energy for their leadership and you know, realizing this project. Well, he also said that the project is actually groundbreaking, it is historical, and it demonstrates that green hydrogen and ammonia can be produced by using renewable sources. So all in all, that's what has been said here.